Good evening, everybody. Good evening, firefighters, family, friends, everybody for the fire community. Thank you out for coming out for graduation for Academy, Doña Ana County Fire Rescue Academy number 2. If you would please stand, we'd like to welcome Fire Academy 2.
Right. Left. Left. Mark time. Mark. Ready. Halt. Command, fall in, fall in. Fall in. Left. Hey.
I'd like to introduce Chief Eric Crispin for benediction.
Gentlemen, please remove your hats, and if everybody would kindly bow their heads. Heavenly Creator, it is our privilege to respectfully request your presence during this graduation ceremony. On behalf of the graduates, it is our humble request that you would bless this graduating class, but more than that, of greatest importance, we desire that you would be here with us all this evening. Among other things, O God, you are the creator of the human mind, body, and soul, to which you modeled in some fashion after your own greatness. We acknowledge and glory in the notion that we may, on our own level, think some of your thoughts after you in this place this evening. Thank you for the precious gifts of education, knowledge, wisdom, kindness. I ask on behalf of everyone gathered tonight that you would indeed bless each and every graduate. Give them the grace to make a difference for the good wherever they may find themselves throughout their careers. For all graduates and families of which they are a part of, we ask that they make a significant contribution to the residents of Doña Ana County. May they especially be a blessing to those whose lives they personally touch while answering the calls for service. And now, may you be pleased with what is done here this evening. Thank you for your presence. It is in the name above all others that we pray. Amen.
I'd like to introduce the director of our organization, Chief Santa.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I wanted to just take the opportunity as we get started tonight to express just such gratitude towards everyone that supported this program, this cadet class, and the department over the last year, including all of the commissioners, the elected officials in Doña Ana County, the county management, Mr. Macias, and the assistant county manager, I think, has arrived. Mr. Jonathan Macias is here as well. And thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for celebrating this time with us. And I hope you enjoy the show. And it's going to be a special time for these gentlemen that are coming out to serve the community. And many of them will be in the field, in the streets, helping the community as early as Sunday. So thank you for being here tonight.
Sorry I didn't introduce myself earlier. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Captain. Well, that's not my name. My rank is Captain, but my name is also Enciso. So I have the privilege of working for Doña Ana County. Friends and family, co-workers, firefighters of the community, I'd like for you guys to meet Fire Academy 2. Before we get started, there's some important people that I want to thank. The first part is I have to thank my administration. Without their support, on all levels, whether it's purchase orders or signing off on expenditures or working with HR. We couldn't do this without them. The second people I'd like to thank is the instructors who help felicitate and teach the academy. If they would please stand and be recognized. We also have one back there in the window. He became the unofficial AV guide today. Can everybody hear me if I speak up well? Does that work for everybody? So we can move on. I'd like to thank the families of our cadets. If you would please stand to be recognized. If it wasn't for you guys and their support and the support circle they had, they wouldn't be able to go through these 14 weeks of training. So if you please stand. And then if there's any veterans in the room, if you would please stand and be recognized, I'd like to thank you for your service. That includes our own academy. And most of all, as Chief said, I'd like to thank our county administration, our county commissioners, but most of all, most important people I'd like to thank is the taxpayer. If it wasn't for the taxpayer, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and build what we build without you guys. So thank you very much. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the academy and training, and since I'm not using a microphone, I don't have to stand over there. I'm more comfortable moving around. 14 weeks of training, right? 14 weeks we covered certifications in 5 areas. Hazmat A&O, which is a 40-hour course. Firefighter 1 and 2, which is a 160-hour course. We covered auto extrication, was another 40-hour course. EVD, which is another 24-hour course. And then we covered wildland firefighting, which is a 180, 190, and the 170, I believe it's in the flyer, which is again another 40-hour course. That's a lot of training. One thing that we commonly ask firefighters in interviews is we ask them, what have you done to prepare to be a firefighter? And 99% of the time, the applicants they'll say something like, I got a certification, I got a license, and they'll leave it at that. This academy can attest that becoming a firefighter is far more than getting a certification. Becoming a firefighter is dedication. It's working at home, studying at home. It's getting up at 7 in the morning and going for a run. There's so many applications of becoming a firefighter that it's a lifestyle. It's not certification, it's lifestyle. It's a life we lead every day of our lives. It's decisions we make that keeps us out of trouble. There's certain things that we do, that way we live our lives, and most of us do it that way for 20, 30 years until we complete the road that we started on. With this particular academy, we started with something called the 6 pillars, right? And I'm going to go through it real quick. First pillar is accountability. And so each cadet here knows about accountability because they're well aware that if they didn't complete the tasks that were given to them by the end of the day, the very next day would be a very long day for them. So they were held accountable. So they don't have excuses that, hey, it's not my fault, nobody taught me, I don't know, nobody explained it to me. They're held accountable. The next pillar is customer service. That's what we do. We go out and we serve the community the best we can. We never want to give somebody 90% or that's good enough or hey, just wait. We always want to give them the best service possible. And I could attest to that because Cadet Powell and Cadet Valenduran, on their way home after an 11-hour day, they stopped and helped an individual tow their vehicle to safety, right? And those are things that we instill. The other one is empowerment. Empowerment is one of our other pillars, and that's where you're in control of your environment. It's not divinity that's going to change your environment. It's not some administrative giant funding that's going to change your environment. You, as a firefighter, are in control of your environment. If those weeds need to be chopped, you chop them. That floor needs to be clean, you clean it. Honesty is the next pillar, and that's where we want them to be honest. We don't want any misconceptions or mislead somebody. They're held to a higher standard than that honesty. Integrity is the same with honesty. They have that integrity even at full competitiveness. Cadet Rivas, they were counting out who could do the most push-ups, and he said 81, and he said that's what you did. You did 81. You didn't do any more. It's that integrity that's installed in them. And then the next one is compassion, right? So as you guys are going to see here, you're going to see during the video, you're going to see some times when we push the physical limits. There's some times where we're extremely hard on each other, but at the end of the day, we practice compassion with each other. And this group here has done a great job supporting each other and having that compassion and supporting each other through the academy training. Next, I'll go ahead and introduce a video. This video was put together by Cadet Brown, so he did a great job. This is just a demonstration when your loved ones were gone. The past 14 weeks, these are some of the things that we were out doing on our 10-hour days. This afternoon, we're going to present 5 awards, and I'm going to present 3 of them. The first one is academic standards I'm going to present. So in the fire world, we compete against each other. Even though we support each other and we take care of each other, we support it, we compete. We compete to get hired, we compete to promote at every level. Sometimes even when we take classes together, we compete. So this cadet group was given quizzes, and their quizzes were posted, and they measured who was, and the whole premise is to compete against each other and had those high scores. So the first award I'm going to is going to be for the highest academic standards. That's the cadet who knew the material the best, studied well, and was well prepared for the quizzes that we issued. And I can't seem to tear a plastic bag. Family of the cadet accepting this award, you're welcome to come up and take pictures. Highest academic standard is presented to Matthew Hoguin. When we started issuing this award, or I should say when we started issuing it, but my personal opinion, I didn't think we were going to give too many of these. There's one individual back there who got one, and there's an individual here who got one. And I'm really going to be hopeful. Maybe they'll continue to issue them every academy. But this award is called Achievement and Dedication. This is a volunteer. This is a volunteer who does everything that a career firefighter does. The expectations, everything is set for them. They're there at the same time, and they leave at the same time. And they take the same quizzes and the same tests. And that, to me, in my eyes, deserves an award for dedication. So I'd like the achievement and dedication. I'd like to give it to Sebastian Estrada. And I'd also like to recognize Yessi back there, who's also achieved that award, if you would. The next award is voted Most Valuable Cadet. This is the group votes to who motivated them the best, who pushed them, who gave them direction, who showed qualities of a leadership. I do have to admit that it's well deserved. I did see this individual do everything that he could possibly done. Not only did he take care of the things he needed for himself, but he also did take care of his fellow academy mates. So I'd like to award this voted Most Valuable Cadet, Clete Powell. Our academy speaker, Clete Powell.
We did it, guys. 14 weeks, right? Some of us, it was a little longer. First off, I'd like to thank the fire administration. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. The instructors, they took time, even on their time off, to be in here to PT with us, day in and day out. The guest instructors, some of them may be here, some of them I haven't seen them. And also, most importantly, the families. Without your guys' support, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today. You guys supported us day in and day out. The times that we would come home sore, tired, wanting to quit, but we didn't. The biggest part of that was you guys at home. And you kept us driving forward. And driving forward, Cap talked about existentialism. This department is growing. With this academy, we're able to open up another station. We're going to be a part of that change. We have to make that change for us and for the community as well. I'm proud to stand up here with each and every one of these guys. I would have them on my crew if I were to be a lieutenant someday, and I would fight fire with them day in and day out. If not who?
Academy 2!
Thank you guys.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lieutenant Travis Simpson. I participated as an instructor in the academy through regular instruction and through the physical training. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing our keynote speaker for tonight's presentation. This individual is a fireman's fire chief. During his 26 years and 10 months in the fire service, he served at almost every level that you could in the fire department. From field operations to supervisory, fire investigations, and finally retiring as fire chief for Las Cruces Fire Department. He played a vital role in the progression and growth of his department and was instrumental in the implementation of several programs that remain in place today. He's a fireman through and through, an outdoor enthusiast, and currently serves as the Southern New Mexico State Fair and Rodeo Manager. Please join me in welcoming retired Fire Chief of Las Cruces Fire Department, Travis Brown.
So I'm not even going to stand back there because I know it doesn't work, and I'm much more comfortable not standing behind a podium. So what a celebration, what an honor to be here to speak at your graduation. Thank you, Chief Cherry, for this chance. I will admit I was hesitant when I received the call. It took me a couple of days. It took a lot of soul searching. I really didn't know. I've been retired 6.5 years. I didn't know if I had anything of relevance to come and to share in this setting. And I think the word has been was kicked around a couple of times as I tried to get my wife to help me make the decision. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, there was something that just kept kind of eating at the back of my mind. Something saying that there is something for me to talk about. Something that's very dear to me and lots of people in this room. And so I hope to share a little bit of that today. And specifically, that's September 11, 2001. That's something that occurred when I was a lieutenant. I was at Fire Station 1. I was a lieutenant on Engine 1. We had a fantastic crew. We were the busiest station in town. We were the busiest crew in town. I mean, I was a number 9 through the door, get some lieutenant that loved what I did. And I thought, been a lieutenant 5 years, I've got a handle on this. I can do whatever I need to. Anything comes my way, I'll be able to take care of it. And then one morning, I woke up and I saw planes flying into the World Trade Center. And like many other Americans, I thought, what is this? And as I watched that first tower collapse, and I started hearing command calling for units, calling their mayday, trying to locate those lost firefighters. That changed my whole perspective about the career of firefighting, about my responsibility as a firefighter. And as the second tower collapsed, I knew that there were firefighters who had entered that second tower after seeing the first tower go down, knowing that they had friends, classmates, academy mates who had perished in that first tower. Yet they continued to charge up those stairs. I don't see it as a loss of life. I see it as they exchanged their life so that thousands others could live, if not tens of thousands. And I started asking myself, if I was in their position, if I was standing at the bottom of those stairs receiving the order to enter that staircase and to go to the 87th floor as Tower 1 was collapsing to my right, would I have had the internal fortitude, the strength, the commitment, the dedication to charge up those stairs? Frankly, that's a question I still ask myself sometimes, even now, because I don't know. I like to think I would have, but I don't know. So at that point, I made the promise that almost every firefighter, and really almost every American made, to never forget. And that became something that will always be tied to September 11th, never forget. But 21 years later, unfortunately, we have started to forget. And when I look at these young men, some of them probably weren't even born when that occurred. So how are they supposed to never forget? How are they supposed to know the impact that had on their future career if we don't talk about it? One of the things that the term never forget started meaning to me was beyond just never forget that day, never forget the almost 3,000 lives that were lost. Flight 93 that went down in Pennsylvania to save thousands of other lives. But started to internalize to me more of what does that mean to me as a firefighter? And that started motivating me. It started giving me direction. It started making me want to achieve more, to be better at my job, to accomplish more, to try to change for the good of the organization, to never forget the sacrifices that were made by those 343 New York City firefighters that lost their life that day. So today, on this day of days, in this room, in front of these friends and family and witnesses, I'm going to offer that challenge to you and what that means to me. And I'm going to take you back probably about 5 months. You were probably dressed very nicely. You were standing in front of a room. Probably some of these individuals were there. What we refer to as oral boards generally in the fire academy process. And I sat through enough of those that I bet there were a few phrases of, I've always dreamed of being a firefighter. I'm here to serve the public. I'm committed, I'm dedicated, I'm hardworking. I will give of myself to protect this community. So what I ask you is to never forget what you said in that room. Because what you said and the way you said it was enough to convince these gentlemen to offer you a position and an opportunity to be where you are today. So take the opportunity every day from here forward to prove that you are a man of your word, that you meant what you said in that room, and that you will show and demonstrate those pillars of integrity and those pillars of honesty. Now I'm going to bring you to today, joyous occasion. In a few minutes, whenever I quit pontificating and get out of here so we can move on, you guys are going to get to stand up here, and somebody that is vitally important in your life is going to walk up here and pin a badge on your chest, and you are going to join the brotherhood of the fire service. But what I ask you to never forget is that feeling of accomplishment and pride that you have when that badge is pinned on your chest. And even furthermore, never forget that the badge is on the left side, closest to your heart. And your name plate is on the right side. And that's purposeful and it has meaning, because when you are in this uniform and once you take that oath and you swear to serve and protect, you are second to the organization. You now have to think of your crew, your department, your community, and the public that you serve over your own self-interest. Never forget the badge is closest to your heart. And finally, the last challenge that I would lay before you today is to never forget the sacrifices made by those 343 firefighters. Because what they did has impacted how people see you, how people think of you. So you have the ability to choose every day to conduct yourself in word and deed in a way that is going to reflect positively on their memory and will bring honor to what they chose to do that day, to the exchange that they made of giving other people life by giving of their own. And I extend that same challenge to everybody in the room. You know, if you were part of the fire service when that occurred, we all made that promise. I made that promise. That's what finally drove me to come and accept the invitation to speak today. Because it's been 6.5 years, and I realize that I have started to forget, and I have a promise to keep. So this is my opportunity to try to at least do my part in the role I play now. So let's not focus on what was lost, let's focus on what was gained during that time. A sense of camaraderie, a sense we became all Americans. A sense of pride in our country, a sense of our fellow man and helping each other. Those are all things never forget. Those lessons that we learned that came after the September 11th attacks. To the Academy 2, the best of luck. I wish you a long, prosperous career. I hope that you go home safe every night, and I hope that you never forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Brown. It was an honor and a pleasure. And Chief Brown was my PT coordinator when I was in my academy, so you guys got to be very thankful he didn't take you running. Next, I'd like to introduce our PT coordinators, Lieutenant Simpson and Lieutenant Tejas.
Before we begin, you got to take more pictures. Nobody told me my zipper was down when I was up here earlier. So, like I said earlier, my name is Lieutenant Travis Simpson for Doña Ana County Fire Rescue. This guy to my right here is Lieutenant Oscar Tejas, and we were asked to be co-coordinators for PT once again for Academy 2. It's been an honor and a privilege serving as the coordinators for these guys day in and day out for the last 14 weeks. For those last 14 weeks, these cadets that sit before you, they ran countless miles, they did thousands of push-ups, and they pushed themselves beyond any sort of comfort zone that they had when they started. But something happened during that time. They began to improve. They began to change. Times got faster. Push-ups got easier. Towers always kind of sucked the whole time. But they improved. They improved dramatically. Their confidence was boosted. They fought every morning through PT, no matter what we threw at them. And they earned these seats that they sit in at the graduation ceremony through blood, sweat, tears, and a little bit of vomit. I'm not going to lie to you. But one cadet was consistently at the front of the pack, pushing himself and others. Come on, let's do it. 10 seconds quicker. One more rep. One more tower. Always pushing everybody, including himself. So if you would, please join me in congratulating the recipient. I guess I should open it first. The recipient of the cadet that receives the highest physical standard, Cadet Matthew Holguin.
We're going to interrupt you.
Okay, all right.
So on behalf of Academy 2, because you guys have pushed us so hard, we wanted to get you guys a couple of bags to carry more PT gear in and to make us suffer a little bit more.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, boys. Well, before I was rudely interrupted, we have one more award to give out. It is the cadet that achieved the highest standard in improvement. Now, this one is always difficult because these guys have improved drastically. Each and every one of them have improved drastically for the last 14 weeks. We took a lot of things into consideration, PT times, running times, number of push-ups, the time they got in their Cooper standard, test scores, improvements on skills. We went back and forth. But after much deliberation, we came to the consensus of the most improved cadet. So if you'll please join me in congratulating the recipient of this award, Joseph Green. All right, before they kick me off of the podium though, Academy 2, these cadets know that I love to exercise the mind as much as I love to exercise the body. So we started every morning with a quote to get ourselves in the mindset for the day. So Academy 2, I'm going to leave you with one final quote. It's by Jane Goodall. She says, "What you do makes a difference. You have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." Never stop improving. Never forget that you're a public servant first and foremost, and always keep the pride that you have right now throughout your entire career. So one final time, Academy 2, sound off.
If not who, Academy 2!
So Academy 2, you've just been pinned by your family. You've taken the next step into becoming part of the brotherhood of the fire service and sisterhood. We have lots of family here tonight, both volunteer and career, that you are now taking the next step in being a part of that tradition and that honor, and choosing to serve is noble that not everyone chooses to do what we've chosen to do in our lives. So the next step while you're standing here in front of all these witnesses is to take your oath as a firefighter. And I'm going to stand off to the side so that the families and friends can continue to see you, but I'm going to ask each of you to repeat after me in this oath, okay? I state your name.
I,
Do solemnly swear that.
do solemnly swear that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
of America
of America
and that of the State of New Mexico.
and that of the State of New Mexico.
I will obey the laws and ordinances of Doña Ana County,
I will obey the laws and ordinances of Doña Ana County,
familiarize myself with and be obedient to
familiarize myself and be obedient to
the rules and regulations and orders of Doña Ana County Fire Rescue.
the rules and regulations of Doña Ana County Fire Rescue.
I will faithfully serve the public in discharging of my duties
I will faithfully serve the public in discharging my duties
as a firefighter to the best of my knowledge
as a firefighter to the best of my knowledge
and ability, so help me God.
and ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. Academy 2, full out.
As soon as they become firefighters, I'm telling you.
Do you notice how they were doing really well until
they
all of a sudden? All right. So this is my chance to share a little bit with you about the department and the roles you guys are going to play in it. Doña Ana County Fire and Rescue has undergone rapid growth in the last several years. And many of you are members of the community in some form or fashion, either volunteers or working for private services as an EMT or a paramedic, or being a volunteer within our community. And you've seen the growth that Doña Ana is experiencing. And it's not just in our fire department, it's in our communities, in our population, in our industry. And the growth that the department is experiencing is a direct result of that. And you gentlemen are getting in on the ground floor of what this department's going to be in the next 5 years. And I'd like to encourage you to remember that even though the academy is graduating today, your learning has just begun. I know it sounds crazy after Captain Enciso described how many hours you've gone through over the last 14 weeks of training, but your learning has just begun. You will continue to learn with every call that you run, every situation, every interaction with the public, every interaction with each other. Throughout your career, our industry is going to grow and change in ways that we can't imagine at the moment. If you'd asked me 20 years ago what I thought the fire service would look like today, I'm not sure I would have been able to envision what we are. And so I am proud to be a part of that change here in Doña Ana County, and I hope each and every one of you are.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief Chant. Before we move on, I want to be the first one to address everybody accordingly, because this is the only time I'll probably say it with a mild voice. Usually I'll say it with a screaming voice. So Firefighter Powell, thank you. Firefighter Rivas, thank you. Firefighter Zapata, thank you. Firefighter Green, thank you. Firefighter Valandran, thank you. Firefighter Holguin, thank you. Firefighter Peacock, thank you. And Firefighter Estrada, thank you. Firefighter Gray, thank you. And Firefighter Sheldon, thank you. And Firefighter Brown, thank you. Well deserved. For closing remarks, I'd like to bring Chief Crispin, if you would, please, sir.
Good evening again, everyone. Eric Crispin, Deputy Fire Chief. Wow, we made it. I had the honor and privilege of speaking to Academy 2 as the Academy was moving forward. I discussed with them the history of the fire service here in Doña Ana County. And I explained to them about what we were doing and the vehicle that we were riding in. First and foremost, I want to talk about customer service. I know that Captain Enciso had mentioned that. These gentlemen who are now firefighters with Doña Ana County Fire Rescue understand the importance of what we produce, and that's customer service. But to the family or families of these firefighters before me here this evening, I feel that we left one word out, and that's transparency. And I find it fitting to talk about being transparent before each and every one of you this evening. You see, transparency is very important in the fire service. It builds confidence. It requires that you trust in us to serve you, the customer, the family member. A lot of you can't see from where you're sitting. I hope that you're able to see it from where you're sitting. Our fire chief, our director, he's not wearing shiny shoes. Although they look shiny, they look sharp. Those are track shoes. And about 2 years ago, and I'm looking at my captains, when he came to visit with us, and we found out he was going to be our chief, our director, we cornered him, and we explained to him what we were going through. We explained to him the vision that we wanted and what we thought he could do for us. You see, there was no honeymoon period for Chief Cherry. He hit the ground running, and we didn't let him stop. Being transparent, this is what you're getting. Being transparent, sir, boss, this is what you're getting. I'm proud to be transparent. I'm proud of the fact that after we grilled him, the administration staff, we brought those key lieutenants in. He spoke to us about what his vision was. And so the captains jumped on, and the deputy chief jumped on, the lieutenants jumped on. We've doubled the number of company officers that we have now today because of Chief Cherry's vision. We've doubled. Because of him, we have fire academies, bona fide fire academies, where we're producing quality firefighters, first responders, those that are going to make a difference. If I were to ask you this evening what you think about when I say the word problems, with some of you it may cast some doubt or negativity. Nobody likes to hear the word problems. But I feel that I owe it to you in being transparent. Because of Chief Cherry and his leadership, we have problems. But these are good problems. I'm psyching you out. These are the kind of problems. When he came into my office and said, "Hey, Chief, we got 8 new trucks coming. These are problems. These are positive problems that you as the customer need to know about. Hey, Chief, we need you and the captains to line up training. We're bringing the lieutenants in." You see, it was difficult in the past to get training off the ground. This was a problem, but it was a good problem. And we've taken it, right? We jumped on the vehicle, we followed the chief's vision, and we're moving forward. Because of Chief Cherry's vision, we've increased training. Within the last several months, we've offered over 380 hours of training, continuing education, certification. As I mentioned, we doubled our company officers. Some of those who are in our presence today, they caught the vision. They understand what our fire chief, the direction he is going. And they accept the challenge. They accept the responsibility. We doubled in stations. We're opening up stations to meet the needs of our customers. That's a problem. That's a good problem. We've recently, and Chief will probably get after me when you all leave, we were a little worried about what our apparatus bay looked like for some time, because of grants, and because of funding that we were able to obtain. When the chief said, we're getting equipment, and we're getting it, and we're standardizing, and we're improving the service that we provide. Homultural equipment, extrication equipment, jaws of life, those of you in the public know it as. 8 sets, 8 of everything. Autopulse. Autopulse is a device that we use. They've trained on it. They will use it. They will implement it. And they will save lives. Autopulse in Doña Ana County. That's a good problem. When the captain was tasked with bringing all this equipment in, this medical equipment, dispersing it, that's a good problem. Academy 2, when I spoke with you, I asked you to keep an open mind and to catch the vision of our fire chief. And I believe that today you have that vision. And without a doubt, they will continue to assist this organization with our problems in a good way. The speed of which we're growing, the professionalism that is moving forward, the apparatus, I'm talking fire trucks, brush trucks, rescue units, good problems. I thank you now. I will continue to support you from behind the scenes and help you get through these problems. Because as Chief Cherry mentioned, some of them will go on duty on Sunday and they will be in the trenches. They will be fighting to save lives. They will be fighting to save property. They will be doing it professionally. They will be dedicated. And they will assist us as we continue to have these good problems. It's an honor and a privilege to participate in your graduation ceremony. I thanked you before, and I thank you again. go forth and represent our organization with pride, with professionalism, and maintain the vision and the values and support the problems, good problems that we have. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please join me in standing as we move to close benediction. Academy 2, please, to your feet. Gentlemen, once again, please remove your hats. And if you would, please bow your heads. The time has arrived for us to depart from this ceremony and celebration. We humbly ask for safety over those who have prepared to report to their respective fire stations according to their schedules. We cherish all the things that have been learned during the past several months and embrace the challenges to be placed before them. We treasure all friendships, bonds that were created during the journey to expand their knowledge and ability to respond safely. We wish to thank our instructional staff, our fire chief, fire administration staff, and those that have supported these individuals who have dedicated their lives to becoming effective first responders for Doña Ana County Fire Rescue. We pray that God will take them into His hand, hold them tightly as they respond to calls for service. And as they reach out to those in need, we ask that He will guide them in every step, in every situation, that He will keep them safe, hedges of protection, courage, and the duty to respond as they move through their careers and continue to serve with passion, pride, and professionalism. It is in the name above all others that we ask this. Amen.